Hello and welcome one, welcome all, welcome to this quick live. All right, Javon, I see you in the chat there. Welcome, welcome. So we're going to have a quick conversation regarding the Olivier Shield, and based on the information, and you can see that on your screen there in the context of what ISSA shared. It's going to be this Saturday, all right, December 14, 3 p.m. at STETHS, St. Elizabeth Technical High School. And so if you're not familiar with the Olivier Shield, it's the winner of the Da Costa Cup that will competition, so Garvey Maceo, and they will go up against the winner of the Manning Cup competition, you know, Kingston College. So it's pretty much an all island, kind of game in terms of who will reign supreme. So, in that context, I want to welcome you, one, welcome all, and I am going to go over to my co host. Welcome. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Let me know if you're hearing me very well. All right, thanks for the invite. Yes, welcome everyone who is here. So the football competitions in Jamaica for schoolboys, coming to the point where we are at the Olivier Shield, and another exciting game coming up. And it's interesting to see which team will lift the trophy come Saturday. And for us to see that, or for you to see that, we would love if you could come on in and join us, on Saturday to see how this one unfolds. So thanks for being here. We really appreciate having you here with us.
All right, fantastic. So, guys, if you want to be a part of this conversation, you can join us on Zoom or you can give us a WhatsApp call. The number is in the chat. The Zoom link is in the chat as well. All right, so welcome one, welcome all. So happy to have you guys here with us. And if you're new to this space, this is a respectful space, so we ensure that we maintain our safe community by keeping it real and respectful. So I really want to start out by asking the question, why states of all the places to play this Olivier Shield game, why St. Elizabeth Technical High School? So that is the first thing. And I also, guys, I want you to kind of jump in here. I was talking to my co-host and I was saying my understanding back then of the Olivier Shield is that it had two legs, right? And so usually, and I don't know if I'm mistaken, but somebody here in the chat, you may know about it for sure. So in that context, you have a leg played in the country and a leg played in the town. And I am almost of the belief too that the Olivier Shield could be shared. All right. So I want to hear from you guys in that context, what is your experience or knowledge of the Olivier Shield competition in the context of schoolboy football? So, did you have that understanding or do you have that previous understanding in the context of the two legs and also in the context of the fact that, the Olivier Shield could be shared? All right, so welcome one, welcome all. So the big question here, why states Garvey Maceo is located in Clarendon has nothing to do with St. Elizabeth, and Kingston College is all the way in Kingston. So I am looking at this. Okay, since you took the country competition, so the Dakasta Cup, you brought it to the National Stadium. I am now wondering, the Olivier Shield is it ISSA's way of saying, hey, we're giving this to country. But when we look at things, Garvey Maceo, they will have to travel from Clarendon, skip over Manchester, go down Spurtree, I guess, to go all the way to Santa Cruz. That's and then Kingston College for sure, they're making that long trip from Kingston all the way to St. Elizabeth. So, what is the idea? That's my question. What is the idea about playing at States? Why States? And I guess persons will have their view on this, and I guess I am wondering like Alice here, but not lost in Wonderland to certain things or context. And so here I am asking the question, why states? If you want to give something to country, why not play the game in Clarendon? Or might as well attend a stadium with it because I don't think it's going to benefit Garvey Maceo going all the way to States. And I guess the same can be said for Kingston College. So we want to hear from you guys in that context, why States? Why is this game being played at States? And Joy, welcome. Good luck, Casey. I am with, I guess, Casey all the way. And yes, that's a big question too. Who will win this one? So, Ovi, I am coming over to you. What's your view on this game being played at St. Elizabeth Technical on Saturday? And of course, we'll be here for that, guys. So you want to ensure that you're sticking and staying with us and why I guess that's the question, so let us hear from you in that context. Why are we playing this match at States, and why not Clarendon? Why States? I don't know if you have the answer, but just to hear your views on this one for sure. Over to you.
All right, interesting question there. I am not the person who can answer that, 100% well, but there are lots of theories that I think could go out there. But, I'm going to go on this question from a different standpoint. I heard you alluding to it where the Clarendon team, Garvey Maceo, is traveling over to St. Elizabeth and Kingston College heading down to St. Elizabeth as well. And I think this is taken away from the competition in the sense that not that the match being played in a quote unquote country school isn't a good thing, but I think ISSA is forgetting about the fans in a sense. I am not sure how much support will be there in St. Elizabeth, and I'm thinking, anywhere closer. You mentioned Clarendon are back at the National Stadium. I would have no problem with any of those options, but I think going over to St. Elizabeth is a little bit far and away from the supporters of these two schools. I know the die-hearted supporters will make their way down there, but we have younger supporters as well. I'm thinking about school children who are at these schools who want to be inspired. Give them access. Give them access to this. As the highway comes down to Clarendon there, goes up to Manchester, but might not have gone down to St. Elizabeth. But I'm just saying Clarendon would be easier access to a lot more fans. And I think ISSA has taken fans for granted, and based on how the competition has unfolded so far. So I don't agree with the match being played down there in Stetts. To be honest, I don't think a lot of St. Elizabeth people or football fans will be turning out for that game. And I'm thinking we want the fan support for the games. We want the next generation of footballers to be inspired, and how best than to get the football to them. But if you're a Man U fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, I'm not sure you would be just supporting another team. You wouldn't have that drive. And I'm thinking, put it in a place where a neutral ground is not a bad thing, but put it where it's accessible to the persons who want it most. And that's the thing here. So, just to add context to this too, I would want to understand how things are decided, how decisions are made, who has an input in it in terms of the principals, the coaches. I'm wondering if those persons or the other persons, the other stakeholders, I might say, how much influence do they have on certain decisions? And I'm going to come back over to you shortly. But I heard somebody on this channel. I'm not remembering the name right now, but I'm going to I'll stick by the statement that was made. I'm not going to get it 100% correct, but in essence, this is what was said. there needs to be a stadium in Clarendon where a lot
Mhm.
of football, yes, the mecca of football, and that could be something that helps to alleviate some of these challenges. And having that there with Clarendon, doing so well in schoolboy football and contributing so much to the national program, I think that's something that needs to be, addressed. But just to get back to the question that you asked, it's I don't think it's a good choice to put it, at sets. One reason being, it's so far away for the fans. Two, the boys have had lots of football throughout the year, and reduce their traveling time. Reduce just ensure that they go out there and they are able to represent themselves to the best. I think the more traveling they have to do, it's going to take away, or it has that potential to take away from their performance. Coming back over to you, my co-host.
Yeah, fantastic. Well said on those points, given what is happening. And it's really unfortunate too to have this game, and I guess they will say, or this was already decided long ago, but we have seen where venues have changed in the context of games this season, whether for natural causes. And I can't understand why you would want to bring Garvey Maceo and Kingston College down to state. You pass Glenmuir, you pass Wembley. And if you want to keep it in St. Catherine, keep it in St. Catherine then. But you don't need to go down to State all the way in St. Elizabeth. That's ridiculous to me. And it's not that I am knocking here at the character of anyone. But for me, if I am a principal of an institution and the president of ISSA, as is the case right now, one of the things I would say, don't keep it here. You know what? Just to take that from me, I would say, listen, if it's a situation where states should be getting their own games, fine. But because I am in this position, listen, I don't want any of those games coming to my school. And I know that the president may say, for example, because I've heard this previously in the media, especially when that thing came up with the principal from Manchester High School, that he has nothing to do with the schedule and whatever it is. But the mere fact that you're the leader and people understand that you're the leader and you have an institution, make it clear to them that you don't want the games there. So the optics of things, they do not seem a particular way because things are going to look a particular way to some of us on the outside looking in, albeit the fact that you're going to say you have nothing to do with the scheduling of games, etc. But make it clear definitively, in that sense that, listen, we don't want any of these games at states. We don't want them. Because no, look at it now. Stats is not playing, and you have a team, Garvey Maceo and Kingston College playing at Stats for what reason? You're passing Clarendon for what reason? Like this is something where you can make certain decisions because you have already brought the country competition to town, right? We see everything else played at the National Stadium, Champions Cup, semis to final, Dakasta Cup, semis to final, Manning Cup. So why states no? Just keep everything at stadium then, no? Why states no? Like it doesn't make any sense. If you're giving the country one of the so-called top final, why are you bringing that to states? Like that doesn't add up to me, and I am saying that categorically, if I were in that position, I would let it be known that, hey, I don't want these games at my school. So, guys, welcome if you're just tuning in. You can be a part of this conversation, all right? So, there's the Zoom link in the chat, so you can join us on Zoom or you can give us a WhatsApp call, all right? So, we would love to hear from you in that context. So, don't be afraid to give us a call. We're here. Javon, it's playing on Saturday, all right? The final will be on Saturday. And also, who will win this one? That's That's a big question too in the context of this Olivier Shield game. For sure, we have two teams, and perhaps two teams that we weren't necessarily expecting to be the respective champions, given how things, I guess, unfolded this season. But we have for sure Garvey Maceo straight out of Southwest Clarendon and Kingston College. All right, KC, I think North Street in Kingston. All right, so we have two teams here. They're going to play for, I guess, All Island, I guess, supremacy in that context. And who will win? Let us know in the chat. And if you're here, please remember to like, share and subscribe. And if you're not sure if you want to participate, come on. It's a safe space and we want to hear from you. Even if you just like the vibe here, welcome one, welcome all. Colonel, are you listening? One Shaggy, me daddy, let me know if you're on this live. I can see you smiling now, Colonel. Welcome one, welcome all. Happy to have you guys here with us. And Colonel would love to hear your voice on this matter because I know you'll have a lot to say. So if you're here, talk to us. I see you smiling right over there. So Tanya laugh. Me see you laugh. Right now, I laugh. All right. All right. So let us know. Guys, we want to hear from you in the chat. So don't be afraid to give us a call and let us know your views. Again, we're talking about the Olivier Shield that will be played on Saturday. So this Saturday at 3 p.m. And for sure, we'll be live to bring you, commentary updates, live, updates in that context. And we want to hear from you too regarding this, encounter as we have it. As you see, that photo is really from the ISSA page that is telling us that this game will be played at STETHS, St. Elizabeth Technical High School. All right. And we are asking your views on that and also who is going to win. Who do you believe will win this one? Will the Olivier Shield remain in country or will it go to town? I also asked earlier about the Olivier Shield. What is your knowledge or experience of the Olivier Shield? For some strange reason, I was talking to my co-host and I said to him, I believe back in the day they had two legs for the Olivier Shield. And also, it's my understanding too that back then the shield could be shared. So I want to hear from you guys, in that context as well. What is your, experience or knowledge with the Olivier Shield? Rohan, welcome. Fortis all day, every day. Fortis them strong. All right, welcome. And Davian Johnson, welcome. And Davian is saying, fly the teams out to Miami. It's as ridiculous as playing game at States. Come on, Issa. This doesn't look good on any level. The optics doesn't or don't look great. And for sure, because as I said earlier, if I were the principal, I am going to tell him, listen, no bring none of them game come to my school, because it's gonna make it look like because and that's the optics. We can't ignore that because how in Evans we have a Clarendon school going and Casey you're past Clarendon, make a football. I mean, Stets is not a stadium. What does Stets have that a Glenmere field does not have or a Wembley field does not have? Because we see a lot of matches played in Clarendon, Foga Road. We have that. So, like, why are we moving down to Stets? I won't be surprised if there's a venue change, but and I know he's going to say that he has nothing to do with the schedule because we saw, that little thing in the media with Manchester High, Mr. Gabriel, when he was like, oh, pretty much you're trying to state to avoid the Clarendon schools and I guess the same schedule in business. And he said, in that context, pretty much that those things are not true. It has nothing to do with the schedule and, the schools, they had some time to respond, whatever. But I am saying It's okay. We understand that you have, based on what you said, and we're going to take your word for it, that you have nothing to do with the schedule. But by virtue of you being in that position and people doing the schedule, all right, make we give the boss this one. We are send this guy boss school. Tell them you don't want none. Tell them no make no places. I don't know. Co-host, I don't know. Would you say to them categorically? So listen, man. You know what is true? Make me protect, and that's the thing. Tell them you don't want none. Because when you think about power dynamics, you have to think about it. Doesn't mean that you have to say to somebody do this or don't do that. You understand? It just happens. It comes with the position. But when you come out now and say, listen, I don't want any of these games at my school, no final, no semi-final, book them somewhere else, whether or not STETHS is going to make it to that place. You understand? So, co-host, talk to me. I don't know. What's your view on that? To say categorically, listen. Mr. Wellington saying category, listen, I don't want any of these games at my school. I don't know. Would that be like a fair stance to take to avoid all of this, given what we're seeing now?
All right, so I'll just add my voice to this one. So it's again, it's dependent on how you look at it. You know, he could have taken that stance to wash his hands free of all of the matches, not especially this last match here, and keep his I guess record integrity intact in certain ways. But the fact that that one is gone to states, it's going to have tongues wagging, I would say. But, there should be a system in place for certain games, I would say. When it gets to this stage, I would say if you're playing all the finals at the national stadium, then that is the standard. So everyone knows that's what is happening. But before I get into that part of it, probably he's protecting himself too. So, when we look at the analysis of the schoolboy season, no one will be able to come and say that all the matches are played in the urban area. And he can say that no, once this match is played in steps, he can say that.
I have a quick jump in here. What do you mean, like, not all the games were played in the urban area? Like, you mean the finals for like Champions Cup?
The finals, yes.
S- So in that context, like it doesn't make any sense because if he's going to look at it from that, not that what you're saying doesn't make any sense, but just the perspective, if that's what he's looking at, to say, okay, we're getting, one game in the country, right? The game that you want in the country is the Dakasta Cup because Dakasta Cup is a country game. That's our thing, right? You can't bring a rural competition to Kingston and then now you're coming to bring Olivier Shield down at your school instead. That must be a joke. So if it is that you're going to say we're giving a competition to rural in terms of one of the big finals, it must be the Dakasta Cup competition when you think about every other things in between, I remember, when I don't talk about the Champions Cup and the foolishness ISSA is doing with the Champions Cup and mash up the two competitions, both Manning Cup and the Costa Cup. But if it is that you want to give country people a final, which final would be the ideal? Not must the Costa Cup competition where you're coming with Olivier Shield. Olivier Shield no means say title going to remain in the country. So if you look at it from that perspective, then I couldn't understand why you would want to give Olivier Shield to country to play in the country. You will know that Dakar Cup is going to remain in the country because it's a Dakar Cup competition. Olivier Shield must remain a country. So I I don't know. Back over to you.
I understand what you're saying, but I still am going to say that, if you check his records and if this match goes through, then not all the finals are played at the National Stadium. And, just to be, on that same page, the Olivier Shield is part. Da Costa Cup, 50% Da Costa Cup. So, you know, I'm looking at it from that standpoint. And I'm thinking, to be honest, I'm thinking that's what a part of the reason why this match wasn't played at the National Stadium. I think personally, I think this match should be played at the National Stadium if that's yeah, my view, if all the others have been played at the National Stadium, take this one there as well. Or if it's a case where you're trying to find somewhere else, you wouldn't be passing Clarendon to go over to St. Elizabeth for this one. So I'm not sure how the decisions are made, but my personal view, this one, as all the other finals, should be played at the National Stadium. Since that's the standard for the year, so that's kind of what I think about this one. But the principal, he could have taken that stance and say, I don't want anything at my school. Yes, for sure he could have, but apparently he did not. And as he said, he had no control over scheduling, but he could have made his school unavailable to host. So, in essence, he could dictate that nothing comes to his school. But a lot of persons will have their own take on this one. And guys, let us know in the chat, what you think about this one. Should the president there of ISSA have this match at STETHS? And what do you think about this match being played at STETHS? Do you think it should be at the National Stadium, somewhere in Clarendon, or somewhere else apart from STETHS? Let us know in the chat. And just before I come back over to you, my co-host, I'm going to say welcome to Mr. Johnson there. Big up Davian for passing through. Respect always.
All right, guys, I think we have someone entering here. So let's just admit this person here on the Zoom. And Brandon, welcome. Giovanni, National Era. See, I guess Garvey Colors here. And Giovanni is saying, Fax Lady. All right, so Carlton, welcome. Unmute and talk to us. Hello, Carlton. Is this my Soji?
Yeah, all the way in the cold. Over
Okay, hi, Carlton. Talk to us.
because what happened? I just joined in, so I see the sign my Zoom, so I just try to see if it
You're
work. I don't know what
yes,
the subject was all about. What
it's
is discussion?
working. You're live. So we're
Yeah.
talking about the Olivier Shield game being played at St. Elizabeth Technical High School. So that's between Garvey Maceo and Kingston College. So want to know, views on that. So talk to us.
Well, I'll go with the Cubans,
You're going with the Cubans for the win.
Yeah. Yes.
So do you believe the game should be played in St. Elizabeth?
Well, if it's hard to, because it's normally sometimes they take it and carry it like in a city. We have a lot of people would like to have a view at it. And they can make it over there. So if they can make it down to Senti, people from like Westmoreland and some parts of Manchester and Clarendon, it must be easier for them.
So you think Westmoreland like Rossi's people and States people going to watch the Garvey KC game?
Well, it doesn't matter like we don't, I don't think they would treat this like politics because it's our school.
What is
Our
our
school.
school?
Like Jamaica. Because as long as you're a football supporter, it does
Mm-hmm.
and it's for your country. I don't think we should specialize in any difference because they are our kids.
Oh, I
If
get
it
what
happen,
you're saying.
if it happen that they should, reach to the national side, they're going to be our reggae boys.
I
So
get what you're
we can
saying
start
in terms
supporting
of
them. Yeah.
support them, no matter where they're playing. So you're saying then fans from West, wherever they
Yeah.
are, should come and watch the teams. But the thing is, Schoolboy, Garvey supporters, Kingston College, they're going all the way to States to play. And then some of their fans may not get the opportunity to go to States to play. So we're kind of trying to figure out. why would they want to put the game there at STETHS?
Well, that is it again. Because you see, I think probably if they do it back in that side, with the traffic on the other side, maybe it will be easier on the countryside. Mm.
Okay. Okay, hear you. So where are you? Where are you joining us
I-
from, Carlton?
I'm all the way in Orlando, Gainesville.
Orlando.
Yes,
Okay, big up
I'm on a
yourself.
work site now. Mhm.
All right, big up
Cold, cold,
yourself.
cold. Yeah, man.
Thanks for
I want
joining us.
bless up all of my people then from Tollgate and Shekels and Four Pass,
All right, so
Ebony Park,
Southwest Clarendon,
Moko. Yeah.
Tollgate, Shekels, and up north there, Moko. All right, Carlton. Make sure you
Yes.
hit the subscription button and thanks for joining us. All right.
Yes, man. You're welcome.
All right. All right, so that was Carlton there, and let me quickly check in the chat here. Cygnus Media, welcome, and Cygnus is saying Olivier Shield used to be played home and away back in the 70s and 80s. I don't think it's perhaps in the 90s because I don't know what. Cygnus, are you putting an age on me, Cygnus? But that's as I said, I was sharing with my co-host, Cygnus. I don't know if you got that part where the Oliver shield, usually had two legs. And for example, the shield could be shared as well. So I don't know. And Cygnus is continuing here by saying if you're only going to play one leg, it has to be at the most neutral spot available, which is the National Stadium. And then I guess Cygnus, the most neutral spot available to who? Because the national stadium is in Kingston, and that is why I said like I think we kind of watering down the football because I think in a situation like this we should go back to the home and away to balance things out. All right, so one leg in country, one leg in town. Perhaps we need to go back there. I don't know, but perhaps. And Cygnus is saying, "Thanks, young lady. You may be correct about the 90s." All right, Cygnus, happy your wheeler come again. But yeah, in that context, and you know what I recognize too from all of this is that with the media in terms of the coverage and TV time, I guess the game has become more restrictive in that context where we are seeing just different shifts. So, for example, the Champions Cup is one of them that come and mess with the Costa Cup and Manning Cup competitions. And ISSA need to find a way to get the Champions Cup from out of the middle from affecting, schoolboy football because it's ridiculous in that sense. And we need to prioritize the Costa Cup and the Manning Cup competitions at all times and at all costs because that is definitely important. So we're gonna coming down to gravy because we're not seeing any more calls here, but we're going to just I'm going to swing back over and guys hit the like button, all right, and subscribe, and we'll be here Saturday for sure. But we needed to talk about this one in the context of what is happening. I don't know if ISSA if they're going to change the venue. We'll look and see, and if there's a venue change, we'll definitely update you as well in that context. So, co-host, I'm going to come over to you. But before I go, Davian is in the chat saying, or perhaps alternate years to have game played urban 1 year, rural the other, all neutral grounds. And that sounds like a plan too, if it is that we have removed the leg. That's a very good point, you know? Garmel, welcome, welcome. And Garmel is saying it has been like this for some time now, one leg. Yes, we know that, but we're wondering too if, given especially in the context of the Olivier Shield, if we need to go back to the two leg to balance things out, or as Davian shared just now in the chat, alternate. So 1 year we know that it's going to be rural, that we have that final being played the other year we know it's going to be in town urban. All right, so I'm coming over to you, Ovi, over to you.
All right. So, good suggestion there by Davian, and I think that could work. But I think the problem is there is no standards. There is not a template that we can work with. So that would give us some sort of framework, some sort of standard to work with. So we know that, okay,
What standard are you referring to?
in terms of the final of, let's say, the Olivier Shield being played in, Davian suggested that it was in the.
So it could be that they have a standard or a policy. So we don't want to go there, but we are not a privy to it because they have to have something going. They have to have some meeting, some whatever going on. It's similar to how they have their rules in terms of games and zones or cards and whatnot. It could be that it's there, but we're just not privy to that information because they have, let's say there's a method to the madness. Let's just work with that, I guess. Back over to you.
Okay, for sure. So yeah, not sure exactly how they do that, but that's something that we need to know about. I think, and that's coming back to the fact that I don't think that fans are taken into account very well by ISSA in terms of their organizing. Just so that we are able to know. For example, we can find the rules. We know the competition will pan out. In this case, we should be able to say, okay, it's going to be played in Kingston this year, and it's going to go out into the, let's say, into a rural area next. And we shouldn't be it shouldn't be a case where it is going, let's say, this year's instead, next year is going to be the national stadium, the year after that is going to be STETHS again, because the rural area is so wide, you would want that to be going around too. So I think they need to get something out there so that we know exactly how this is done. Back over to you.
I get what you're saying, and again, they have, according to the man, there is the team, whoever is responsible for scheduling. I think you mentioned the name, but I can't recall right now. And I get what you're saying, the context that the rural area is so big. So, Kingston, the national stadium, quite accessible to teams. And I guess if you look at Kingston, I guess St. Catherine's schools, they're a part of it too, and I guess not too far away and in that context. But I think something that we have seen in the past is where certain games were being played in Montego Bay. So like Jared Park, usually hosts, a lot of the big football games. I can remember watching a final there, Jared Park. So, that I think it was Glenmere and Rome. So, that kind of context. So when we think about, football in general, schoolboy football, as you rightly said, some form of standard in terms of certain games. What they did other day is that once you top your group, you get what? Two home games and one away. Some team they got just perhaps one home game. And it kind of, when we looked at it from that perspective, at least that was clear. So once you top the group in the round of 16, where else you're getting two home games. So you if you want that to your benefit, you ensure that you're topping your group. Then there are issues there in the context of some schools, but the Clarendon teams they benefited significantly from that because one, we had about 9 Clarendon teams in the round of 16. And then, for some reason, however the schedule was projected, we saw a lot of Clarendon clashes. And so we had quite a few games in Clarendon in that context, right? So based on that, and quite a few Clarendon teams, they were topping their group as well. So for example, Central, they were topping group before they fall, Glenmere the top right through. Garvey perhaps was in another group. We saw Kems Hill there, a lot of Clarendon teams. So what happened is that when we look at things that way, Clarendon teams they tend to benefit from playing in Clarendon. just based on the, what would you say now, the I guess the strength of Clarendon teams. But it reached the point where, we're looking at the projections and we say the way they set up, it kind of like two Clarendon teams, they just won't make it. It could be that they make it to the final, but it just ended up that we didn't have two Clarendon teams in the final, and that's fine, right? We saw Garvey and Magra. Good game if you were watching that. Just the final seconds, perhaps 7 seconds of that game, change everything. And the Cubans, they reign supreme. So felicitaciones, all right, to the Cubans for sure. But I guess, as you said, Clarendon, one, we need a stadium in Clarendon. I remember you started that, and someone shared too. Clarendon is like the mecca for football, and we need to see that. And we need ISSA to understand that as well in that context. And I'm still trying to figure out why the game is at STETHS. And let me look in the chat. Garmel is saying it started because of the Champions Cup when top eight from Manning and the Costa Cup qualify for the Champion Cup, and I guess they retired. Is not top eight, top four, four from each. Yeah, the top four, the semifinalists, and the Manning Cup and the Costa Cup semifinals should be played before the start. Yes, Garmel. And that is another live. We're going to talk about the Champions Cup, mash up the Costa Cup and Manning Cup competitions. And it's not fair because you're interfering with rural football and urban football programs. Like, if you ask, for example, at Glenmere High School, which cup they would rather take, the Costa Cup or Champions Cup, they will definitely tell you the Costa Cup. And when you look at what happened, and I hope ISSA, they're paying attention, is that the teams in the respective semifinals in the Champions Cup, none of them made it to the final of the of their respective Dakasta Cup and Manning Cup competition. So that is something for sure. Dar, welcome, Cubans all the way. All right, so guys, let us know if you have any final thoughts in the chat, views or perspective, and I'm going to go over to my co-host right now. Over to you, Ovi.
All right, thanks. So, I'm going back to the Olivier Shield, and I've been just thinking since, what Davian shared, and, what you have shared as well, and what persons in the chat has, they have shared with us. And I'm thinking, they should make some sort of incentive there for the where the match is being played, because I think, fans need to be included some way or form. So if it is a case where they're going to go down to the aggregate in terms of goals accumulated by the teams or something like that, but I'm foreseeing that, you know playing the match in a year. For example, Garvey Maceo, they scored more goals throughout the season than Casey. Then they would get it. I'm just saying, just find a system to determine so that teams know that, all right, here what, if I win the Costa Cup, I want the Olivier Shield to be at my home ground, in my parish, so that they can get that support. Because, the thing is, playing the final of the Olivier Shield at any old ground, let's say, as I was suggesting earlier, it takes away from the fan experience. And I'm thinking that we need to get the fans involved as much as possible. Think about supporters of Garvey Maceo all throughout the year, you know, or the season. They will have to think about traveling way down to St. Elizabeth now. And I'm thinking that if you have put in all that work, then there could be a system in place that say, all right, if you put in a certain standard of work, it determines where the match is going to be played. And especially for the rural teams, I'm thinking about other teams that, from time to time, look at, we had McGrath coming up this year, they would want that in their area. And because of how big the Doncaster Cup is, You don't want to limit it to a Clarendon, a St. Elizabeth, down at States there. You want, if Rossies does well, they have it up there so that they can get their support if they meet that particular standard. And when to be honest, the Kingston school, the corporate schools, they're closely knitted, I would say. So that they could get it in an area for themselves if there's a standard that is created. So let the schools know exactly what they have to do in order to get the match where they want it. So they would have that to help them out in that regard. So tell me what you think about that one, guys. I'm going to throw it back over to you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you. Good point. And it's not just even the fun experience, it's also the students, the players, the unnecessary traveling to states. And, so you think about it, not every school can afford to go overnight and travel and stay and ensure that, the boys are okay and well supported because it takes a lot, right? In that context for sure. So we need to think about that, and that is definitely important. Garmel is saying it used to be the top 8 for the Champions Cup. Okay, thanks for sharing. Who is the president of ISSA, the principal for St. Elizabeth Technical High School, Garmel? All right. So, that, we definitely need to consider in that context. Why do we want to do that? And I get what you're saying there, Ovi, in the context of, especially with the rural teams, it could have been like a McGrath. So, have something in place. And I guess your recommendation is depending on the number of goals scored, for the season, then that will determine. And it could still go back to that alternating thing, right? That Davian suggested in the chat earlier, where we alternate and you alternate based on the team who is going to play. So, for example, if this year is Garvey, it's for rural area in terms of hosting the Olivier Shield, or Garvey decide where they want to play, right? And the same can be said when it goes to Kingston for the Manning Cup when it's their turn. They decide the team. I think that's a good way to look at it. The team who is going to play, they say, okay, let us have it at the National Stadium. And that's fine because Garvey would want to have their support, KC would want to have their support. So I feel like that suggestion that Davian made in the context of alternating each year, plus what you're saying there, Ovi, in the context of, schools wanting it to go a particular place so that they can get the support. I feel like a good solution, just, putting both ideas together would be, alternate, and then whoever is going to play in the Olivier Shield. So if it's rural time to decide where the game plays. So for example, no Garvey, they're the champions. Garvey decide which field they play. And when it goes back to Kingston, let's say KC, they're the champions of the Manning Cup. They decide, okay, we want to play at the National Stadium. And I feel that's fair. That's fair. That's a policy right there for you, Issa. Come and take it, courtesy of Voices in Education. All right. And Doris saying, so true, my lady. Ronnie saying, Issa said, if Town wins Olivier Shield this year, then the Shield final goes to Town next year and vice versa. Okay, but how is it that, so we're in country now? And yes, we know the season last year with CC, but why is it being played at STETHS? And Garmel is saying the Olivier Shield should be played at Clarendon or Kingston. Point taken. We don't need to go to St. Elizabeth Technical High School to play the Olivier Shield. That's just ridiculous. We don't need to have it there. So Isaiah need to wheel and come again in that context because that for sure isn't working. All right. So that's a policy there based on what our community members shared, Davian, and what Ovi shared. Two, alternate. And Ron is saying that they have, for example, if you continue to win the Olivier Shield, then it stay. And we know CC did their thing last season, so it's in Clarendon. But we need to change, we need to fix that. Even if ISSA is going to stick by that policy, they need to fix it. So the school who is going to play determine where they play. To have a game in STETHS, Garvey and KC, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, man. All right, guys, so we're coming down to gravy. Any final comments? Let us know in the chat here. And guys, we'll be here Saturday for sure. And if we get further updates in terms of a venue change, for example, we'll definitely jump on the live and let you guys know. But for now, the Olivier Shield final will be played at St. Elizabeth Technical High School at 3 p.m. this Saturday, all right? So we'll be here for that. So ensure that you are sticking and staying with us for sure. Ensure that you're hitting the like button, share button, and subscription button. And you also turn your post notification on. So tap the bell, select all so that you do not miss any updates from this channel. That is definitely important in this context. So I'm just looking in the chat here, not seeing any new comments, not getting any calls, and I'm not seeing anyone joining us on Zoom here. All right, so we're going to wrap this one up. But before I go, roll call. You know, we always do that. Where are you tuned in from? Let us know in the chat. All right, let us know where you're tuned in from. And let us know too, who do you believe is going to win the game on Saturday, Garvey or KC? All right, so roll call. Where are you tuned in from? Jamaica, are you here? All right, let us know where you're tuned in from in the chat, and would love to acknowledge you guys here because that's a part of our space here. We like to acknowledge our supporters here. All right, so welcome one, welcome all. Happy to have you guys here. And before we round things off here, we're doing a roll call. So let's see where you're tuned in from. All right, so now is the time we want to shout out to everyone. So I know I've been in the chat here. So let's see who is still here and where you're tuned in from. And Doris saying, and the road is so bad for them to go so far. My word. They don't need to be in St. Elizabeth Technical to be playing this one. And Rowan is saying New Kingston. So you're tuned in from New Kingston. Hello to everyone tuned in from New Kingston. And Casey is going to win the shield here, according to Rohan. All right. So big up yourself, Ron. Happy that you're here. And you say Fortis forever, man. All right, Doris saying tuned in from Connecticut, USA. So hello to everyone tuned in from Connecticut in USA. Happy to have you here, Dor. All right, fantastic. Let's see here. Roll call. Who else is here in the chat? So just waiting here. But again, guys, what can go so in Derek voice? What can go so, Issa? All right, Issa needs to fix that one. All right, so, just that in that context. All right, Issa, they definitely need to fix that one for sure. But there's lots for them to fix in the context of schoolboy football. We need to be improving, not, getting worse. So that is definitely important. All right. Not seeing any new comments in the chat here in the context of roll call. To all my silent listeners and supporters, we really appreciate you too. All right, so thanks for being here and thanks for tuning in. All right, this was a quick one. Jamaican is here. Good afternoon. Voices in Education and Buyers. All right, I like that, Jamaican. Rooting for Garvey Maceo. All right, they beat us St. Catherine for our best chance to win our first Manning Cup. KC is all right, Jamaican. You're rooting for Garvey Maceo. All right. And Garvin is saying the fans should boycott the game at STETHS. So no Garvey fans to the STETHS game and no KC to the game at STETHS, and no KC fans should go there because the game should not be played at STETHS. And I agree, it should not be played. And Jamaican is tuned in from Philly in the USA. So big up to everyone tuned in from Philly for sure. All right, so that's the situation. It's unacceptable, man. And I don't know what they're thinking. What can go so? It's hard to kind of understand because I look, and that is why I put up the picture that ISSA shared. So this is actually from their Facebook page, right? And so I was wondering, like, when I said to my co-host, listen, we were talking about this last night. Because then I said to him, do you know where this match is going to be played? And he's like, no. And I said, STETHS. Can you believe that? STETHS. Why STETHS? Like, why would you want to take this game to STETHS? And I don't care how long schedule make. As I say, if I were the principal, considering that STETHS is my school, I would say to whoever making the schedule, listen, I don't want any of these games at STETHS, because if we're going to go back to say, okay, the Olivier Shield was won by Clarendon College, CC, right? How does STETHS fit into this in terms of scheduling? You pass Clarendon, Central, and let's look at just Central Clarendon. You have Glenmere Field, you have Fogar Road that is close by. And if you go just a little bit southeast, which is perhaps about 20 minutes out of the town, you have Wembley. And if they want to go up to Effortville, perhaps they don't want to go up there. But I mean, you know, we have that. Clarendon. So how is it that you reach all the way down at St. Elizabeth Technical? I don't know who was looking into a crystal ball. Perhaps they thought STETHS would have been. I don't know. I don't know. Just asking a question here. I don't know. Brown man is saying, one Cuban, Garvey again, Clarendon. All right, welcome, Brown man security. And Denton is saying, Garvey, they're going to win this one. And Clarendon side, we say, all right, blessed. And Garvey going to win there from Denton. All right, so really like it, guys. So really like it, and we'll continue to pretty much come live and share any updates that we have. But I felt that this conversation was important given that, you know, this game is being played at STETHS for whatever reason. I don't know. And again, we want ISSA to do better next time. And so that's the part of this. We need to ensure that we're supporting schoolboy football in a holistic sense. So the players, especially, I don't know why you would want, you know, players to be traveling, you know, to go all the way to St. Elizabeth when you have, you know, I guess surface that you can use that is not in St. Looking at they skip Clarendon, skip Manchester and gone all the way to St. Elizabeth. For whatever reason, I don't know. All right. And so in that context, you know, that is significant. And ISSA, I guess they need to share why they would want to do something of this nature to bring a Olivier Shield game at St. Elizabeth Technical. All right. So that is something that ISSA they need to come and talk to us about. And that is definitely important in that context. It cannot be because we have to think about the athletes, the players. And yes, you know, my co-host mentioned the fans, but just that alone, like, come on, Issa, come on. And verse, the president is the principal of the school. The optics, again, they just don't look good. All right, Doris saying, Cubans need to be, I guess you're saying they can't boycott the game because they need supporters there to cheer on Cubans. Carlton is saying, I just see your point. Okay, whatever you said, I vote for that. Okay, I guess Carlton, you were the one who joined us on Zoom. All right, so yeah, that is definitely important, in that context. And I would love to see what ISSA will say. And this just not look good, guys. All right, it's not a good look, and that's a situation in this context right here. All right, let me see here. A comment. Come on, Cubans, let us put the gas money together. All right, Dor. Dor, you said they have to reach there. All right, Dor, I guess you're gonna send some from CT. You're gonna put the gas money together. Samantha, welcome. Everything can keep a tone. Yes, Samantha, we know that, and that's not the problem. The problem is where in country it's being kept. All right. So, and what they should really prioritize for country is the Dakasta Cup competition. And they brought it all to Kingston, semis and finals. So I cannot understand ISSA. And now you decide that the Olivier Shield is going to be in country and it's going to be at St. Elizabeth Technical High School. Kemar is saying one Cuban. All right, so the person's coming rolling in. All right, welcome, Kemar. So let me see here as we build here. All right, fantastic, fantastic. All right, guys, thanks again. So happy to have you all here with us. And ensure that you turn on your post notification bell. All right, ensure you like and subscribe, share, tell a friend about the Voices in Education. And if you're interested in the Olivier Shield final, we'll be here on Saturday for sure. All right, so ensure that you like, share, and subscribe, everyone. Let's see who else is coming in and who else would like to share on this topic quickly in the chat. Sam is saying Glenmuir would have been a better choice for sure. For sure, in terms of, accessibility, and Garvey, they have played there a few times, so they would have be familiar with that surface too. Vanessa is saying one Cuban. All right, Clarendon straight. And Kemar is saying one Cubans. All right, never two or three. And on that note, big up to OB, the number 11 there for Team Garvey Maceo. All right. So we have to big up OB and big up Kim. Big up yourself to Kim. And Jamaican is saying, is there good playing fields with stands in central Jamaica? I guess they played match at Glenmuir. I don't know if the stands is the problem. STETHS might have a few. I've seen matches played even at Chester Brooks, but I don't know. But you have Effortville, so if they wanted that, I guess they could get it there. I suppose. I don't know why ISSA need to go all the way. Or they just play it back at the National Stadium. Ask Garvey where they want to play the match. Simply put. And whatever Garvey says, ISSA does. Yeah. Ask Garvey Maceo where they want to play. And Doris saying, come on, Yorktown Cubans, you know how to get to me. Do it tomorrow. Yorktown. All right. So Dor, where are you from? You mentioned, are you from Yorktown? Gravel Hill? I guess you're from that area, Southwest. All right. So let us know. Big up Yorktown. All right. Southwest, so you know the thing go. Garvey Maceo. All right. And let's see here. So I'm just looking for comments. All right. So just checking here. All right. Doris saying yes. All right. Big up to everyone from Yorktown. Big up Southwest, so Yorktown, Panasas, Gravel Hill, Four Pass, Milk River, Gimme Me Bit, Crooks Gate, Olive, Kemsill, everywhere, all right? Big up Southwest. Big up, big up. All right, fantastic. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for sharing in the chat. Carlton for joining us over on Zoom. Really appreciate it. And just continue to share and tell a friend and another friend about, the voices in education. And as we continue to grow stronger together, all right? So we're trying to get to our next target here, which is, our 7K. So don't forget to subscribe and share. All right. Blessings and love, everyone. And I'll definitely see you in the next live. So we're going to go to some music and we're going to just sign out of this one. All right. So continued blessings, everyone. Bye for now and see you in the next live.